Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. We are now on day 14 of the 40-day global study of Maimonides project, looking at Hilchot Teshuvah, the laws of Teshuvah before Yom Kippur. And today we're in the middle of our tour of heresy, our tour of apostasy, various ways that people can go wrong theoretically with their Jewish belief. And as we shall see, we'll take just a couple of steps into what Maimonides thinks of Christian and Muslim belief in today's text. So here we go. This is law 3.8. There are three kinds of apikorsim. You recall that term apikoros, that's a singular, the plural is apikorsim, refers to a generic category used in the Talmud of people who are deviants from traditional Jewish theology. And he's going to say there are three basic types. One who says that there is no prophecy at all, meaning there's no communication from God to the human race. And that there is no knowledge of the Creator that reaches the heart of human being. Okay, category number two. One who denies the prophecy of Moses, our teacher, meaning that this Apikoros would say that there is such a thing as prophecy, but Moses' prophecy is not a prophecy. And the third category, one who says that the Creator is unaware of the deeds of humanity. And that might be something like a deist approach, where God, as it were, created the world, wound it up like a watch or a clock, and then just walked away and doesn't pay any attention to it. Each of these three is an apikoros. So there are three basic categories for Maimonides. Now there are three kinds of deniers of Torah. This might be like a kind of a subset of the previous kofer perusha. Let's see what this means here. One who says that the Torah does not come from God, even a single verse, even a single word. This would be very problematic for modern biblical criticism. If he says, Moses wrote it on his own, behold, this is a denier of Torah. One who denies the interpretation of Torah, this is the second category now, which is the oral Torah, and contradicts its teachers, Adid, Sadok, and Boetus. This is referring to a school of thought in ancient Israel that argued that essentially what would become the Talmud, known as the oral Torah, the running rabbinic commentary on the written Torah, the first 5 books of Moses, was not of divine origin. And third, one who says that the Creator exchanged one commandment for another, making the earlier Torah irrelevant, even though it came from God, like the Christians and the Muslims. In other words, the way he's saying it here is that, the Torah that is received on Sinai and its legitimate interpretive tradition known as the oral Torah, this is kind of like not changing. That although the interpretive tradition does allow for the analysis of these sections of the Torah to meet with contemporary political, technological, sociological, economic challenges and so on, nevertheless, it's fixed. You can't take a mitzvah and then say this mitzvah no longer applies. Just a second, please. My phone is ringing. Right. Okay. I finished with my phone call. So now what happens here is that the idea is that in Judaism, when God gave the Torah and its interpretive tradition that's incorporated in the oral Torah, there's no updating or changing over a mitzvah. If this mitzvah is such and such a thing, then one can't say, well, that's no longer relevant. This is a new mitzvah in its place. And that's why Maimonides criticizes both Christianity and Islam. There's no idea, for example, of a New Testament in Judaism, because there is no such thing as an Old Testament. The Old Testament is the eternal, unchanging Torah. And for Muslims, the idea is a little bit different there, because Islam, of course, regards the earlier testimony as somehow corrupted by later generations of readers. Maimonides will return to this very briefly again later on in this book. But let's do halacha 3.9. So now we're talking about the apostates. That's my translation term, mishumadim. Meshumad is a little different in tone than the previous term apikoros. Meshumad often refers to someone that has been forcibly rendered an apostate, but as we shall see how this applies. So there are two types of apostates. One is an apostate for a single sin, and the other is an apostate for the entire Torah. So an apostate for the single sin is let's read Maimonides and I'll give you an example. An apostate for a single sin is one who has intentionally habituated himself to a particular transgression. He is well known for this sin, which he regularly commits, even if it might be one of the lighter sins, such as wearing clothing made out of wool and linen. You might be surprised, but wearing clothing made out of wool and linen woven together is in fact prohibited. Or cutting the hair on the sides of his head in the forbidden manner, right? That's also forbidden by the rabbinic tradition in particular. Actually, I think it might be forbidden by the written Torah. That's a problem for some teenagers. As if he considers the commandment irrelevant. This person is called an apostate for that one particular thing, providing he is doing it to anger God. Lahachis is the term here. As opposed to, let's say, for example, a person just has a Big Mac attack. A person walks by a restaurant and sees a cheeseburger, which is also forbidden, and says, oh, I just can't help myself. I must eat this cheeseburger, right? This is 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. I have to have it. I know it's forbidden, but I can't control myself. So that would be like an apostate for this one thing. They just can't be trusted around cheeseburgers. But that would not be technically an apostate. That person would be like, he's weak in that one area. But if a person says, I hate cheeseburgers, they're terrible, I can't stand the taste, but I will eat it just to anger God, dafka, as we say in Hebrew, then that would be technically Maimonides' definition here of a meshumad l'davar echad. Now, see the second category. An apostate for the entire Torah is like someone who turns to the religion of the nations, who leaves Judaism to join another faith, during a time of forced conversion, meaning when the Jews are oppressed and are being pressured to convert to another religion. And this person says, joining them and says, what does it benefit me to be part of the Jewish people who are lowly and persecuted? It would be better for me to join with these people who are more powerful. In other words, the person converts for opportunistic reasons. That would be a meshumad l'kol Torah kula, someone who is an apostate of the entire Torah. Behold, this is an apostate for the entire Torah. Okay, that's it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to continue with our tour of apostasy, but I hope you have an excellent day. Thank you for listening.